Observe the right eyelid. It is a mechanical stutter occurring within the biological hardware of a global sensory disruptor designed for absolute market saturation. The system is failing. This isn't a blink. We are witnessing a system interrupt where the high-speed processor of an optimized archetype finally collapses under the geometric load. Architecture is fracturing. Deconstruct the original firmware. The Catherine Hudson Foundation was built on extreme psychological restriction and a binary fear protocol that prioritized survival over self. Cold religious coding. Childhood was a chamber. Her early environment functioned as a sensory deprivation zone, allowing only the high-frequency vibrations of Pentecostal fervor and existential dread. Biofeedback of fear. The trauma loop began. She operated under the algorithmic belief that a single deviation in thought would trigger an eternal and permanent neurological termination. The glitch was fatal. Success was a weapon. Her career functioned as a tactical survival mechanism, providing a geometric escape from the suffocating vacuum of her initial biological environment. Calculated flight path. Look at the camouflage. The Katy Perry persona became a high-gloss fortress, masking a desperate algorithmic need for external validation and market share metrics. It was weaponized repression. The surgery was total. In 2008, the Catherine Hudson identity was surgically removed and replaced by a high-output sensory engine designed for mass consumption. Biological replacement complete. The calculation was precise. Geometric probabilities suggested that a neon-coded avatar would achieve maximum market penetration across the most profitable global adolescent demographics. Optimized for dominance, her voice is code. Every vocal delivery was a series of compressed signals, tuned specifically to trigger an algorithmic dopamine response in the listener. Such mechanical precision. It wasn't a peak. The teenage dream era represented a sustained output of aesthetic engineering that remains unprecedented in the history of pop architecture. Geometric market control. 5 consecutive number ones. This was not luck, but the result of a biological marvel executing a flawless script within a cold, industrial framework. Pure algorithmic dominance. The debt was heavy. Every performance functioned as a high-intensity simulation of joy, masking the deep executive functioning fatigue of her internal biological hardware. The physiological cost. She entered the fortress. She became a captive of her own architecture, trapped inside a candy-coated exoskeleton that required constant maintenance and high-energy feeding. Maintenance is mandatory. The hardware started overheating. The witness era arrived as a desperate attempt to recalibrate the persona toward a more sustainable biofeedback loop of relevance. A system recalibration. The market rejected her. Executive functioning collapsed completely as the feedback loops turned negative for the first time in a decade of geometric growth. The algorithmic rejection. Enter the dark room. This was a period of clinical psychological death where the architecture of the avatar was broken and the ego structure dismantled. Total system failure. A public autopsy followed. The 96-hour livestream was a high-definition broadcast of neurological collapse, disguised as performance art for the algorithmic masses. Observe the fracture. The system was purging. She sat before the cameras as a biological system attempting to dump years of compressed trauma and artificial identity construction. Just cold reality. System override was initiated. To survive, she had to decouple her internal biofeedback from the geometric decline of her global chart positions and metrics. A forced evolution. Vegas is the OS. The residency functions as a controlled environment where the glitch can be managed within safe and predictable geometric parameters. Constant static maintenance. Dominance is no longer required. She is now maintaining stasis, executing a calculated retreat into a high-production loop of nostalgia and algorithmic irony. A strategic withdrawal. Observe the eye again. This isn't a failure of the person, but a symptom of the brand's immense weight on the biological nervous system. Internal hardware fatigue. Her autonomy is sacrificed. The cost of global icon status is the surrender of individual neural autonomy to the very machine built to ensure survival. A cold exchange. Study the trauma-to-icon pipeline. Her career is a case study in the trauma-to-icon architecture, fueled by the algorithmic fear of being absolutely nothing. Refusal to disappear. Her happiness is irrelevant. She is functional, she is optimized, and she is the final result of surgical precision within a chaotic biological industry. Pure optimized output. Her poetic vengeance achieved. The girl denied secular snacks now controls the geometric sugar supply of a global algorithmic pop culture machine. A cold victory. There is a price. Maintaining the hyper-bright fortress causes micro-tears in the psychological fabric and the underlying biological hardware. Ongoing system decay. Smiles are data points. Every costume functions as a firewall, while every hit song reinforces the original algorithmic survival protocol of the brand. The permanent reinforcement. We watch the friction. We observe the struggle between the biological human and the digital icon, where the intense architectural pressure produces the glitch. A fascinating failure. The brain is remapped. A decade of extreme fame has altered her biofeedback, making the response of a massive crowd her new biological baseline. Total permanent rewiring. The withdrawal is inevitable. When the lights vanish, the system experiences immediate withdrawal because the dark room waits just outside the spotlight's geometric radius. Only cold shadows. She is the ultimate experiment. She is a creature born of restriction, refined by industry, and rebuilt following a catastrophic crash of her original architecture. The pop evolution complete. Respect the thermal limit. The glitch serves as a reminder that even the most advanced biological processors have a point where the architecture slips. A mask failure. She isn't a person. This is a multi-billion-dollar neural network designed specifically to harvest human attention at a massive industrial scale. An algorithmic entity. Trauma was the ignition. Fame provided the acceleration. The breakdown was the impact, and her current state is the calculated salvage of the biological wreckage. Refusal to disappear. She is a high-functioning marvel. She is a study in psychological engineering, proving what happens when an internal void is filled with cold, neon architecture. The neon void. The gaze is fixed. With a set jaw, the performance continues because the algorithmic script is written solely in the cold language of survival. Her survival protocol. The firmware still runs. Behind the sequins, the Catherine Hudson code remains a quiet, persistent ghost haunting the vibrant architecture of the machine. A biofeedback ghost. Pop dominance is brutal. Pop architecture demands the total surrender of the biological self to the altar of a cold, aesthetic archetype. The total surrender. The price is paid. Her clinical psychological death was the final payment on a geometric contract with global relevance and algorithmic power. The contract fulfilled. A biological achievement unlocked. We observe a human who successfully converted religious shame into a global algorithmic empire of pure biofeedback and dopamine. Empire of neon. The eye twitches again. It is a signal from the deep, a message from the internal hardware that it still remembers the geometric pressure. Deep hardware memory. The system never stops. The architecture is locked into a cycle of perpetual output and maintenance that the biological host can no longer interrupt. A locked cycle. The surgical precision remains. Her brand is a masterpiece of calculated and obsessive pop artistry, functioning as a cold, industrial fortress of influence. True clinical artistry. Study the unexplained glitch. It is not a flaw, but the only honest moment within a perfectly engineered and algorithmic reality. An honest failure. This human is optimized. Rebuilt from the wreckage of a fundamentalist past, she was designed to conquer a cold, secular, and geometric future. Refusal to disappear. The cost is incomprehensible. The processing power required for this level of biological existence is extreme, and the glitch is the only available evidence. The evidence remains.